Hello and welcome back to Yes Guy Gaming, and we're back here in my game, Volleyball Simulator. I'm super proud of this project and this portfolio piece, and hopefully you guys are enjoying playing this game. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't heard of it, it's linked in the description. It's a volleyball simulation game that I made with my developer friend Tobias Bauer. We worked pretty hard on it over the past 6 months. It's come together. We're super excited, and I've already done a few videos kind of introducing it, done a video just kind of playing it, having some fun. I'm looking forward to getting some videos of some of my volleyball community friends and family playing it and seeing kind of their thoughts and seeing if they're able to figure it out. But in this video I wanted to go through some of the more back-end stuff of the game and kind of some of the game design thoughts around what went into this game and some of the back-end systems that I designed and implemented in the actual gameplay, so that it'll be a bit of a spoiler for sure. Like, it'll help you play the game better, be better at the game. I hope. I mean, maybe not, but just help you figure out what's actually going on. For those of you playing, so you can maybe have a better idea and beat the game on a higher difficulty level, but also to kind of go through some of my thought processes and show off kind of some of the work that went onto this game, hopefully for portfolio and stuff. So for fans or anybody else watching in, welcome, thanks for joining, and hope you kind of enjoy this deeper dive into Volleyball Simulator. So to start it off, I will turn the voice volume right down to 1% so that we don't get interrupted by me. We'll turn the music up a little bit because it's good music, I like it. Again, comment down below if you can call out which game this music is from. Points to anybody who gets it. And I think we'll talk a little bit about the difficulty. So the way we design this is in the back end there's a system to kind of handle each of the team's skills. So there's the player team skills, and each of the players has their own individual skill. On each of these difficulties, just because it's a bit of a vertical slice, all their skill levels are the same. So middles, setters, left side, right side, they all have the same skill. But by choosing a difficulty, you change how skilled each team is. So on so incredibly easy, your team is so incredibly skilled, and the AI team is so incredibly unskilled that it's actually hard for you to lose and hit it out of bounds and to make mistakes. And the reverse for impossible difficulty, where the AI team is much more skilled than the player team, making it very difficult to score, to beat their defenses, and much easier for them and more likely for them to score on you. So I think we'll play on hard difficulty, just because it's a bit more of a challenge, and I can kind of hopefully take advantage of some of my own behind-the-scenes systems to try to win. So first thing, I had to go in and kind of program each contact in the game, kind of each sequence of contacts, right? So the first one obviously is serve pass, then pass set, set hit, block, defense was probably the most complicated, and then it just cycles again, dig, set, and goes on from there. So on the serve pass, I have the AI kind of selecting where they want to serve. They're not necessarily selecting the best location to serve, but they're kind of picking randomly between a few locations that they identify where you're set up. So setting up your serve-receive players in a good position to cover most of the court will help you. It's less likely that the AI will hit a serve that's far enough away from you that it actually is a bad pass. The proximity to the ball makes a huge impact on how good or not the pass is. It's still possible to make a good pass if the ball is very far away from you, and a bad pass if it's right at you, but those things are kind of affecting the sliders behind the scenes of how likely it is to happen. So ideally in this game, setting up my kind of serve reception so that they can evenly cover the court kind of side to side, left to right, or top to bottom from this perspective, but also kind of cover the court short and deep, is the ideal coverage. Is we have somebody covering every part of the court. It's still possible to get an ace, but this seems to be, like this or something like this is the best lineup. We could reverse this and kind of move these players around a little bit to have them in different positions so that they do a little bit better. But that's the thing, is you can't go out of rotation as well. So if I try to bring this middle beyond the middle and the back row, it won't let me. So yeah, feel free to play around with the rotations and stuff to get the best kind of coverage you can in each rotation, but then, you know, kind of after each interaction finished, the AI will pick a location and the serve interaction will happen. Seems like they served it short and my player was close enough, was pretty close, and got a good pass, so it resulted in a 3 pass. So now what's really cool about this and kind of the game design decisions around getting a 3 pass is now I can have all my hitting options available. So the setter is in the back row, so they can't dump it obviously, but they can set any of the 5 players on a good pass. So me setting them up, I can set them up wherever I want. I mean, if I set up a back row player in the front row, it won't make them available as a hitting option. But I can put them anywhere along the back line I want. I could stack them both up here on a double A ball or bring them down here on a double C ball. I could even set them way back here in the back row. It just makes them less likely to score the further back they are. It's still possible though. You could set them way back here, get the angle, and just pound it. But you're more likely to get blocked and get dug. The other thing that is kind of important to think about when setting up your attack locations is the way I've done the block defense is about angles, which I think is really true to the way the sport actually behaves, which is one of the features I'm more proud about. And strategically setting up where your attackers are gives you different opportunities. If I bring them all into the middle like this, just because I'm trying to run, I'm trying to run a 41, a 31, and a 61. Or a 41, a 51, and a 61. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because they'll just the AI will stack up their block and almost certainly have a triple on whoever's attacking. But spreading out is also most of the time super helpful, meaning that you'll always at least have a line attack or kind of across or through the block, a hole in the block, which is in volleyball what you want to get, and I tried to emulate that as much as I could in this game. So, and you can run whatever you want with these front row hitters. Like, I could run 3 attacks over here. I could run all 3 of them back. Like, I could do whatever I want. I think I'll just run kind of like a normal spread, like an outside ball, a quick, and then a back set, just to kind of demonstrate. But I'll set up my back row players as well for a bit of a pipe, and a bit of a C ball, and then a bit of a pipe. Just kind of a normal or a standard volleyball setup. And after the player chooses their attack, their setup, the AI makes a decision about where they want to go. And I gave them a handful of kind of defensive strategies. There's, I think, 21 or 22 defensive strategies in the game as a whole. But when it's early in the game, nothing's happened. It's 0-0. They're tied. The AI coach makes a decision to just pick from the bucket of defensive strategies that are neutral. They're kind of like a conservative, average play style. So here you can see they're bunch blocking in the middle. On a good pass, they should have a single block on at least everybody, potentially a double on the middle, and they force you to attack down the line. It might have been another defensive setup, but this is the one they picked for this current location. And now I can choose who I want to set. Obviously, like I said before, I'm trying to set up angles, so I want to try to pick, if I'm trying to be strategic in a volleyball sense, I'm trying to set the player who's most open or who's most opportune to score. And I think given this setup, it's either my P1 on the right or my right side on the left side there, as they would both have a line shot down the line as their blockers are a little bit late getting there. But there's other strategies you could go with as well. If I set the middle, the opponents would probably bunch up and do a triple, but it might give me an opportunity to try to get a tool or tip it short by the block to try to score. Or I could try to go with the back row option and try to give myself a better angle attacking around the block. All of them can be successful, and I think it just depends on what you've set up, what you're given, and where you then choose to attack. So there's a lot of different options for what you can try to do, and the system will handle all of them, which I'm super proud of that, and so I think it kind of makes each interaction different each time. So I think in this case I'll make a back set, and both the middle and their left side blocker both tried to close. There's a hole in the block because they didn't have enough time to react, and the middle is a bit late, right? So they're a little bit further over there. So this gives me a couple different options. I can choose anywhere that I want to hit on the floor. I can try to attack that square. I can try to attack this square. I can try to attack anywhere I want. But the way I programmed the system was that depending on the quality of your attack, and that includes the quality of the pass, the set, and your player's skill, you may hit the target you're going at, or you may hit 1 or 2 squares away. So if I try to bounce it straight down here, it's possible that I hit it into the net, it's possible that I hit it just out of bounds, or it is possible that I bounce it right there. So different locations on the court add different levels of risk. Ideally, you want to attack somewhere, and this is true in volleyball as well, somewhere that's away from a defender and you have a clear lane of attack by the block. So in this case, I have both of those things, but I don't think together. I have a clear lane down the line where there's no block. I could hit it right by the block down here, but that defender there, the P2 defender, would have a chance to make a dig on that. Whereas here, if I attacked, it's not really near any defenders, or same thing in this corner, but it's actually going right by the block. How I have the attack and defense system working is when the player decides where to attack, I point a line right to there and count how many blockers' hands are in the way. So if I were to attack right here, there would be both of that blocker's hands in the way, and they'd have a high chance of blocking me. There'd be a chance that I could get a tool, but it would be a risky attack. Whereas hitting around the block is less risky of getting blocked. I could miss out the side, so that's kind of decisions you have to make. If I attacked it over here, say, it probably is hitting one or both of those blockers' hands, might get a tool, but might give me a block. Like we kind of take a risk there. So I think in this situation, I'm just going to try to attack down the line and see what happens. So I hit it out of bounds because I attacked right on the sideline, and I guess it wasn't that great an attack, so I just missed, but I hit it out of bounds. So that's kind of the risk I took by putting it on the sideline. I could have put it 1 square up, but then it would have been closer to the defenders, closer to the block. So this is kind of the risk reward that in this game you got to play, which is, I think, kind of true to real volleyball. As an attacker, you can really go for a shot right on the line. Obviously, if you miss just by a few inches to the right, it's out of bounds. So that, I think, is shown here as well. I'll speed it up a little bit. So now here I'm on a 2-pass. So this is the other thing that is not super clear, but kind of true to volleyball. On a 2-pass, the middle is out. You don't have an opportunity to set the player who's in the middle, but you do have all the other options. You could set both back row players or the 2 high ball outside players. The AI is going to do the same defensive play because I hit it out of bounds last time, so they're going, yeah, I like that, so I'm going to do it again. But now I have less options. I think I'll try setting a back row player this time. But because it was a bad pass and it's a high ball situation, the blocker had more time to get there, so they're actually able to close up their block and defend me. But since I used a back row player, I have a little bit better angles, right? I have a lot more court to hit at here without being worried about hitting it by the block. So I got kind of a straight line that's kind of by the block into that corner, which is kind of a low risk location for the attack. And same thing about the block. It may or may not hit the block, but I could get a tool from that. So I think I'm going to try to attack there. So I didn't get blocked, but they dug me. But it wasn't a great dig. And so this is what happens on a terrible pass situation. So a 1-pass or dig is it really limits your options. And I have the AI demonstrating that visually, but the same thing happens for the player-controlled team. Is it lowers your options down to 1 or maybe 2 options for you to set. Like in real volleyball, if you shank one, you maybe just get a high ball to your left side or right side, or maybe one of both, but it's not going to be a great offensive opportunity. So this gives me the chance to stack up my triple block, which really increases my chances of scoring a block, and set up my defense on the only angle I'm giving them around the block. Now, I will say, you can kind of cheat and just move everybody over here, which is not super true to real volleyball. And you know, if this player were to attack it by the block into this zone, they would certainly score because nobody's there. But I could take a risk. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to just leave them here just in case and put that one player there. But that's kind of another thing you can do. You can do whatever you want. So as we already knew, they set it over there. I've already stacked, but it does give me a chance to move the block. I could kind of adjust and stack them over here. I could leave a hole in the block. Like, I could do whatever I want here with these blockers. I think I'm going to leave them like this. But the AI, actually, when they attack, they're trying to find their best attack. The one that gives them the least chance of getting blocked, trying to pound it by the defense. So they have a few different options. I think they're going to probably try to hit it up here. But again, I don't know. They may get blocked, they may get dug, we'll see. So perfect. They tried to attack it by the block. I guess they didn't attack it accurately enough. It went right into the block, and the block was successful and slammed it down for a point for me, which is great. So now I get the chance to serve as a player, and similar to the attacking, I can serve wherever I want. And the further away I can get the ball from a receiving player, the more likely I am that they're going to pass poorly, or I'm going to get an ace. It's totally possible to get aces with a high quality serve. Again, same with the attacking though. If I try to serve it here, there's a high chance I hit it in the net or hit it out of bounds. But if I actually manage to land it there, it's probably going to land for an ace. So, you know, sometimes you may want to take that risk. It depends on the point in the game and kind of your preference for that. On the harder difficulty levels, it's more likely that, because your players are less skilled, it's more likely that they're going to miss. So you can kind of play that and make your decisions as you will. So let's go for it. And I hit it way out of bounds. So I didn't even make it to the net because it was that terrible. Again, I'm on hard mode, so these things are difficult. But so I think that's every interaction. I didn't want to show too many secrets in the back end, but hopefully I've kind of demonstrated how the game works a little bit on the back end. Hopefully you guys found that interesting. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up in the comments below. I would love to hear your feedback, love to hear your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed the game. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try to do more videos and more fun stuff like this, especially if you guys enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you next time on Yes Guy Gaming.